So you're a professional storyteller.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us what that involves.
It involves doing lots of reading, listening to lots of storytellers and finding stories that you go, oh wow, I want to tell that, I want to carry that around for years and years. And you learn it and you practice it and you tell it, and then you get to go out and tell in different places.
Right. So where do you get your inspirations from? These are stories. Do you make up these stories yourself, or are these other people's stories?
No, I do write. I write fiction, but being a storyteller really is mostly about carrying, passing on the lore, the traditions. So it's myths, legends, folk tales. So I just get my inspiration from loving the stories. I love stories of all kinds, be it fiction, films, folk tales, whatever. So I just find ones I love, and I just have this desperate desire to tell them.
Yeah. Okay. And is it Scottish based, or is it international? Or?
I'm pretty international and eclectic. I travelled a fair bit, and when I started out I thought, well, I'd like to find out what the stories are of these places I've been to, so I was looking into Indian stories, East African stories and so on, and recently I've just got really focused on stories from these lands, so Scottish, Irish, Welsh, English stories.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so give us an example, an example of a story that you really like, that you retell.
What do I really like just now? My big favourite recently has been one that you find in different versions all over the world, and one that I've kind of mixed together. There's a Scottish version called The Sea Maiden and a Norwegian version called The Giant with No Heart in His Body.
Right.
And they're kind of related. Folk tales travel and they take different forms, so they'll be different, but you can kind of recognise the core. So in this one, it's very long, but a boy goes out on a quest and he comes to a giant's castle and he wants to rescue the maiden that the giant has kidnapped and marry her. In order to do that, he has to defeat the giant, and they have to discover where the giant keeps his heart, where it's hidden, find it, and smash it. And then the giant's done for, and he can take the maiden away. There's a lot more goes on in different forms. It's really interesting, partly because it's believed that that's where J.K. Rowling got the inspiration for Voldemort and his Horcruxes from, putting the soul in different places, and that's how you need to defeat the baddie, is by finding the soul he's got hidden somewhere.
Wow. Okay, so for that one, for example, how did you discover it?
That one, I was doing a set of Harry Potter related stories that's commissioned by the Writers' Museum in Edinburgh, so I was just looking at the different themes and looking at different folk tales. I can't remember how exactly, but I happened on
Okay, so it's through Harry Potter.
Yeah, and then I just started doing reading and finding different forms of it.
Yeah. Okay, so you're up here to do some work. You've been at school today to do some work with young people, and you're storytelling tomorrow in Atlanta with young people. Do you do all ages, or is it mostly young people you work with?
It is mostly young people, because that's what you tend to get bookings for, because people generally believe that storytelling is for young people, which it is. It's also for older people, but I do love to work with adults as well, and do a fair few gigs with adults.
Yeah. Okay, so storytelling, going to a gig, what makes a good storytelling gig? What are the ingredients that make that work?
The main thing is I can't say there's one main thing, but one of the main things is connection. Storytelling is what makes it different from theatre and the other art forms. Is you look the audience in the eye and you develop a connection, a rapport with them, and in a more obvious way, like asking for suggestions or ideas or feedback, or in a more subtle way, just from reading them and then reading you feed off the audience, and the audience feed off you and the story, and there's something magical happens in which you create the story together. And if a storyteller really knows his story and knows how to connect to people and knows how to deliver it, that's the fun. But the magic really is the fact that you don't quite know what's going to happen. The telling is different every single time. A story is different every time you tell it, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Okay. Do you ever get interaction? I won't call it heckling. Do you ever get people getting involved?
Yeah, it's encouraged. It's strange if people don't get involved. I mean, some stories suit it more. You're not like asking for lots of ideas. Sometimes, mostly, you're just letting people sink in. Others are a bit more light and a bit more participatory. But yeah, heckling is very much desired and encouraged, and it's great because like with kids, for example, the ideas they come out with, the suggestions they make for how to find out the witch's name or whatever it is, they're ingenious.
Good. Okay, so you're on at Atlanta tomorrow, 4:00, is it?
It's earlier than that. I haven't got my diary with me.
Okay. I read out it's 4 o'clock earlier from our notes, so we will find out and correct or go on the website. What can folk expect? What will be on tomorrow for the Atlanta gig?
Tomorrow it's Winter Tales, and I'm doing a focus on Arctic stories, Scandinavian and Arctic stories. There was a wonderful storyteller called Stina Fagertun down from Arctic Norway. She was in Edinburgh for the Scottish International Storytelling Festival in October, and she was wonderful, and she told these great Arctic stories. So I've got a couple from her and another one that's a favourite Danish story.
Okay, so it's aimed at young people tomorrow, and it's be tickets in advance if it's in Atlanta.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll confirm the time for that. So, in general, storytelling, does it still happen in communities? Is it vibrant? Or is everyone sitting in front of their screens?
I wish I could say everyone's
I want a definite answer. I want the whole story.
It's happening. There are scenes, there's pockets all over the place, there's storytelling clubs and so on. It's a niche thing, but people are getting a bit more aware of it. It is growing. And
so you're saying there's an international, what was it, a national festival you talked about there?
Yeah, we've got an international festival in Edinburgh. We've got the world's only purpose-built storytelling theatre in Edinburgh. So we've got this great centre, storytelling.
Okay, what's that called?
The Scottish Storytelling Centre, and the theatre is within it called the Netherbow Theatre.
Okay, and that's in Edinburgh?
Yep, international tellers. We had I think 100 tellers from all over the world this year, and great Scottish tellers, stuff going on all throughout the year. So if people want to tune in, it's very easy to go and find a club or start telling stories, start learning them, start telling them.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Okay, well thanks for coming in. No hope your trip goes well. Come back and tell us all about it next time you're up.
Love to.
Okay, bye for now.